Proposition and support. Compare tone, editorial.
All right, let's jump right into today's explainer. You know, at the very foundation of any good editorial is what we call a proposition. In plain English, it's simply a debatable claim. But if you want to anchor that claim in objective reality so people actually listen, you've got to have support. We're talking about directly relevant, sufficient reasons and evidence. Now, once you've laid out the facts, then comes the tone. This is that extra layer that totally colors those facts and reveals the author's true attitude. And what actually shapes that tone? Well, it's a mix of the audience, the author's purpose, their diction, the connotation of the words, the syntax, and of course, rhetorical devices.
Okay, let's bust a few common misconceptions really quick. First up, opinion is absolutely not automatically evidence. Just having a strong personal belief doesn't count as factual support, no matter how much you feel it.
Second, tone is not topic. Think about it. The actual subject of an editorial is a completely different thing from how the author feels about it. And third, emotion is not proof. You can be as passionate as you want, but those feelings literally cannot substitute for directly relevant reasons.
To put into perspective just how influential a powerful, well-supported argument can be in the real world, Common Sense was published anonymously in Philadelphia in January 1776. Let's actually see this whole shebang in action with a real-world example. Say a local debate about adding bike lanes in your city. The author's central proposition, their big debatable claim here, is that the city must build protected bike lanes downtown.
And for their support, they bring the receipts. City data shows a 30% increase in cyclist accidents this year. That is solid, directly relevant evidence.
Now, through their specific choice of words and their underlying purpose, the author creates a tone that is incredibly urgent and critical.
Okay, time for a quick knowledge check. If an author just yells, "Bike lanes are awesome," does that count as support?
No, definitely not. Remember, opinion is not automatically evidence.
All right, check two. If an editorial angrily discusses traffic, is the tone traffic?
Again, no. Tone is not topic. The tone is angry, but the topic is traffic.
So the crucial takeaway from this explainer is that a strong editorial always pairs a debatable proposition with directly relevant, sufficient support. Next, an author strategically shapes their tone to reveal their attitude using specific building blocks like diction and syntax. Finally, always remember that opinion is not evidence, tone is not topic, and emotion is not proof.
Read a local editorial today. Identify its central proposition and evaluate whether the author's tone relies on sufficient evidence or just emotion.
Proposition and support. Compare tone, editorial.